Hey, what is up guys? So we're going to be showing off the new D heroes, and surprisingly how they work now is a burn deck. There's a lot of people trying out a lot of different builds of heroes right now, but anyways, got some replays for you guys to check out, and I'll also give you guys a deck profile if you guys want to mess around with the deck itself. Nonetheless, pretty interesting way to play D heroes now, and it's kind of cool to see how certain decks evolve. And D heroes right now are all about the burn. That's how the new archetype kind of plays. And what's really interesting is with that new D hero, the Dystopia guy, he does in fact a lot of burn damage, and he gets his effect when he is special summoned, regardless of how it's special summoned. It doesn't have to be fusion summoned, which you guys will see off in these replays. So he's just going to keep on burning his opponent, and you can keep on just making this guy over and over, and you just get to select a D hero in the graveyard and kind of burn them over there, which you guys will see. But Anki is a pretty decent card in the deck as well. With the addition of some of the mask changes, you can really utilize some of the masked heroes, which is definitely an awesome thing to do. Anki is still a relatively great card just because you're able to go ahead and deal extra damage, then go ahead and re-add another one. It just opens up the door for other alternative plays in the deck. But for the most part, a lot of times you'll see the deck is relatively fast on like what it needs to do. Granted, that is if you are given a decent hand. You can kind of brick in this hand, at least that's the way I see it. I mean, you do have those 3D draws, you have the Rhoda. And on top of that, if you want to play like an E-Hero version, you can definitely go ahead and do so as well. And at that point, you have a lot of more other cards. But I think what really makes this deck is the ability to abuse Malicious so easy, and that we have that new pot card coming out in the game, so that can definitely help you cycle some of the Maliciouses and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we don't have Stratos, so it's not an easy way to search out Melee, really easy on, but there is another card which we will talk about once we're going through some of these replays here, but there is another card. There's the Dynamite guy. That card is actually pretty good. Again, this deck is all about burn, but we'll see if we can face off against the burn. I would say this is a more meta burn deck, which is a Volcana deck, but yeah, nonetheless, it's just a pretty decent little deck where you're just burning your opponent over and over again, and it can get quite annoying. Now, certain cards have the effect where you get to re-add stuff. One of the cards that you could re-add in this deck is the Decision guy. So if this card is normal or a special summon, you could add one hero monster from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase of this turn. Now that is a little bit slow, but nonetheless, it's still letting you add the card, so that is obviously pretty decent. And again, going with that new pot card coming out in the game, you can recycle the other Malies, keep one Mali in there, and then re-poly, grab Dystopia guy. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over their effects while these replays are going off as well. So Dystopia guy, once he's special summoned, you can target level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in graveyard, and you're just going to burn your opponent equal to its attack. The highest that you really have, realistically, is the 1600. There might be some other cards that come out in the future, but for the most part, it's 1600. And then on top of that, if this card's attack is different than its current attack, you get to go ahead and target one card on the field, destroy, and then this card's attack becomes equal to its original attack. So that's just definitely a decent little thing. And again, he sent the card back, but it didn't matter because it's when it's summoned he gets that effect. So he went ahead and just burned his opponent for a game. So you guys can kind of see the idea of how this deck wants to play. Oh no, this duel is really cool. Hold on, you guys got to check out this one. This guy's playing some like rank 1 turbo. It's just really cool. Like everything in the deck is level 1, and I just like that idea. Mixing it up with the rank up cards as well. So you guys will definitely see that. So you're just gonna go ahead and make that card. And a lot of the combos are just keep on burning your opponents. So you summon the card, you burn him, you smack him if you can. Unfortunately, he gets Jack Frosted. But yeah, he still has 2800 attack, so this card is not like something that is terrible. And if you use Dynamite guy, he can actually become 3800, and 3800 is pretty good. I don't think there's too many meta cards that can deal with a 38 by just ramming right into it. But he goes ahead and draws the Regeki, and he's got a CXYZ Coach Lord Ultimate Trainer, and then he's also got the Princess Sprite, so he's going to have that potential to activate the top card of the spell trap you get to add to your hand. So good stuff indeed. But again, it's just burn, burn, burn. That's the main goal of the deck. There's also this card, Destiny Hero Captain Tenacious. This card's only really usable with like Call of the Haunted. It's kind of a tech card, I would say. But it's once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle since your last standby phase. If you control this card face up card, when the target was destroyed, you get to special summon that card. Again, it's really difficult to pull off this card because they're just going to target this instead. You know, if you can pull it off, then you can summon this guy, you get a 28 beater, then you, on top of that, you also get to, you know, inflict another 1600 points of damage. What's good with this card is you just target the hero in your graveyard and then you just deal damage. I was thinking, since the deck is relatively quick, right? This one is also a really good duel. But since the deck is relatively quick on getting a whole bunch of heroes in the grave, there are a lot of different builds that you guys can try out. But I'll show you guys one of them. And there are, of course, tons of different versions of the deck. Like you can make a Vision Hero. So this was once per target, one face-up hero monster, one face-up monster your opponent controls, and one face-up hero monster you control except for this card. The opponent's target monster loses attack and defense equal to the attack of your target monster to the end phase. But I think overall you're going to be making this guy more than often, but you know, whatever the time calls for that guy, you can definitely make him. But since you can send a lot of stuff to the graveyard relatively quick, and pretty much everything that you play is dark in the deck, because that's the D heroes, they're all dark. Unless, of course, it makes some new one in the future. But you can, I was thinking maybe Dark Creator, because you can get 5 darks relatively quick, especially since, like, you have the fusions, and, like, look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 right there, and then, oh, at this point, you have, what, 4, 5, 6. Like, Dark Creator could be another good one of those tech cards that you just throw into the deck. Good addition, special summon this bad boy over here, burn him again. Because remember, you don't need to banish with Dystopia Guy, and that's what really makes him so much better than a lot of other cards. Back in the day that, like, you know, we'd have all these effects, but a lot of times you had, like, banish, so you'd kind of slow down. But this guy, he just target a card, burn. But he's going to go ahead and change that effect, so he has to destroy a back row instead. But it is his turn, so he can get that effect of Caduceus. But anyways, Fusion Recovery, excellent, great card. And on top of that, you have the Defusion. And again, the goal is literally just burn your opponent to death. Very annoying stuff to run into. Just burning your opponent. But nonetheless, he's got the Decision Guy, he's got the Poly, so it's really easy. You just can poly one card plus the other guy, and then you just, again, you're burning your opponent, and that's how the deck kind of plays. So I know some of you guys want the deck profile, you guys want to mess around with it. Again, this is just a build from Young Teriyaki over here that you guys can mess around with. Just to give you guys an idea, I don't really find this deck to be too meta, but I think that some of you guys can mess around with this. There's a lot of different builds of the deck. You guys saw, you definitely can mess around with like the Shadow Mist, because this card lets you search out the hero monster. So I'm thinking maybe you can Foolish, search out the Mally, de-draw, summon, and then, like, again, you can go off with a lot of different things. You guys saw at one point he used Dynamite Guy's effect. I mean, all the cards are decent. They're not like game-breakingly like tier 0 confirmed, but like I think that it's a decent deck for some of the like younger players. Maybe like they really like D heroes, but there ain't no like good D heroes. Let's be honest. It's like Diamond Dude, Mally. That was like the main like engine of D heroes. I know some people played. Is it Doom Lord? Let me go ahead and show you guys this card too. Yeah, Doom Lord is one where you target one monster opponent controls, you just banish it, and then you can't declare an attack the turn you activate this effect. So it's really good just to get rid of certain things, and it returns to your opponent's side of the field in the same battle position during your second standby phase after activation. So it's like pretty much most of the time when you Doom Lord something, it doesn't come back. You're going to finish off your opponent, or your opponent's going to finish you off. But yeah, nonetheless, it's just a decent little build to get you guys started. So first off, we have one copy of Dasher. Dasher wasn't used in the video. I mean, he's kind of RNG. I mean, if you can get maybe a Dynamite Guy summoned off, it's not that bad. So it's the main effect that you're going to be using is if this card, no, where is it? One time only when you draw a monster during your draw phase while this card is in your graveyard, you can reveal it and special summon it. This card must be in the graveyard to activate and resolve this effect. So that means if you draw like one of these cards, you can instantly just summon it. That is when you draw a monster card during your draw phase only. So kind of sucks if you draw it during like D-draw and stuff like that. It does not work. It's during the draw phase only. But anyways, yeah, we got triple Mally, and I think that this is what makes the deck, honestly, because you guys saw like this card plus Fusion Recovery. It's just dirty just to be like, oh, summon, okay, burn, attack 28, okay, summon again, burn for another 16. Then we have 3 copies of the Dynamite Guy, so this guy boosted attack, and then he can also make the battle damage you take become 0, and then you're going to burn 1,000 damage to both players. If you really want to utilize burning, there is this card, Ring of Destruction. Ring of Destruction can also definitely be used in this. Again, it just fits with the theme of just burning your opponent. Heck, dude, if you really want to, you could even throw in this card called Ceasefire. I think this card's still at 1. Oh, Ceasefire is at 2. You can even throw in Ceasefire. Pretty much everyone's going to be using effect monsters, so at this point, you can go ahead and just maybe burn them for like a couple of thousand here. You get 1,000 off this, and you get 1,600 most of the time with the Dystopia guy. So you can do a lot of burn damage to your opponent. And then we got 3 copies of Drill Guy, so if this card is no more special, you can special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your hand with less attack or equal to this card. So it lets you go into rank 4s. I know there's not any right here, but easy rank 4s. One thing that I actually was considering when I was looking at some of the D heroes for you guys is if you guys want to try out Defender, Destiny Hero, let's just type in Destiny Hero. There's a decent amount of like good D heroes too, especially I was thinking like Dogma. You can half your opponent's life points, and then you can just burn them for game. Plasma is also good if you want to mix in Scapegoat with that. But at one point I was doing Defender, a long time ago, like back in like the PSP game, I think it was like Tag Force 2. I was using this guy. You'd set him, your opponent attacks into him, and they take like maybe 1,000 damage ish. And then next turn you go ahead and you can synchro with it, you can poly with it, and that downside never really happens where your opponent gets to draw a card. It's during your opponent's standby phase they get to draw an extra card. But you never let them do that because you're going to go ahead and synchro, or fusion, exceed, whatever you're going to do with Destiny or Defender, you just go ahead and do that. So you can just get the extra free damage in if you guys want to. But yeah, this card is pretty decent because it just lets you go into rank like 4s, and again, synchro if you have to play tuners in the deck. But yeah, I know it can only special summon D hero, but maybe use like set a tuner or something like that. It just opens up other options for the deck, and it does do piercing, but for the most part, it's not really used for that. And it's just pretty much used for getting that 1,600 burn, as well as with Decision Guys. So level 6 or higher, monsters your opponent controls cannot target this card for attacks. You can only use each effect of a Destiny Hero Decision Gun once per duel. So if this is normal or special, so you get to add 1 hero monster from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase of this turn. Again, it's just way too slow in my personal opinion. But anyways, it was used technically. It definitely is usable. And then during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that would inflict damage to you while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand, and if you do, make that effect damage to you 0. So you get to add the card to your hand, you get to negate the amount of damage you take. Excellent card against random things that burn. So I guess a mirror match would be kind of funny to see that. Although it does not, you just get to add it to your hand. It does not destroy the card, unfortunately. If it did destroy the card, so like if you get rid of a Cowboy Heck and mirror match, you can get rid of this. It'd be really good. Then there's just 1 Shadow Mist, just because if it is special, because this lets you special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your hand, so it does not count for this. I guess, is this one hero? What is it? You draw a monster card. It's a monster card, so you can technically use it off of Shadow Mist. But I don't know. It's just, it is usable also with Call of the Haunted, but unfortunately it does not work with Drill Guy. Then we have 3 copies of King of Swamp. Poly is really important, the same with the Fusion Recovery. Then we got 2 copies of Allure. Everything is Dark. And again, if you want to use that new pot card, pot of. Yeah, I don't know if they added it. Oh, they added the Avidity that just came out in the game. So yeah, you can like mix in that with the Allure, then you can kind of mitigate some of the minuses technically if you really need to use certain cards. Then we have the triple Fusion Recovery, triple Poly, triple D-Draw, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Upstart, 2 Mass Changes, 3 Defusions. So it can kind of mess up your opponent when they're like targeting something. You're like, nah, man, target something. These psych target's gone. Torrential, we got the Oasis, and triple Call of the Haunted. So that's his build for the main deck. The extra deck, we've got 3 Dystopias, 1 Adoration, 2 Anki, 1 Escort Out, 3 Absolute Zero. Works really well with King of the Swamp. You guys can try into some Miracle Fusion. Then we got the number 22 Zombie Stein. Then we have number 30 Hope Harbinger. Then we got number 107. We got number 23 Lancelot, and we got number 15 Gimmick Puppet, Giant Grinder. I think the most important stuff, obviously you need Dystopia Guy, obviously Anki in this build. Ab-Zero is definitely a great card just to get rid of certain things. Then you can poly Ab-Zero, then you Ab-Zero, Ab-Zero, and then you can clear the board and still have Ab-Zero and attack him directly, essentially. But I really think that this card's important. Obviously, this card's important. This card is also very important if you're playing the Mass Hero build. But yeah, I think this is a decent little build to get you guys started. Maybe, take out a few cards if you don't like some of them. Maybe you don't like triple of these. You can definitely mix and match some of the numbers if you guys want. But I suggest some maxis and stuff like that because it could definitely be useful if you draw multiple cards definitely drawing multiple mana is not good. But you guys can see like how you can poly into poly into poly, and like there's no limits to how many you can use. So you can go poly and then into poly and then refusion, add back poly, poly again, and just burn them for 1600 over and over, and then you attack them once and you win. That's again, I think the core concept of the deck, and that's what I'm trying to show you guys. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you guys give that like button a titty slap. But let me know what you guys also think of the deck. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm signing out.